On the Arise TV show, Dr. Ruben Abati came hard on Peter Obi. In fact, you need to listen to what he has to say, accusing him of painting Nigeria black abroad just to score cheap political points. In fact, he said that Peter Obi has no moral right to attack others when poverty is increased under his own leadership in Anambra State. Also, Vimbai actually made a great point on this particular issue, and I really love you all to listen to what she has to say. Please give this video a thumbs up, drop in the comments what do you think about this issue, and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. With that being said, stay tuned, guys.
Of course, we begin here at home with politics, as the presidency dismisses as false and baseless allegations that Nigeria is sliding into a one-party state. This is following a wave of defections to the ruling All Progressives Congress. In a statement, Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, said the country's democracy remains strong and thriving under President Bola Tinubu. He described claims by opposition politicians and activists as hypocritical, accusing them of trying to delegitimize the choices of Nigerians who have freely decided to support the ruling party, APC. The presidency also defended the recent defections by key opposition figures, saying freedom of association is a fundamental part of democracy and denied any use of blackmail, bribery, or coercion. Blaming the opposition's woes on what it called their poor organization, indiscipline, and failure to manage their internal affairs, the statement insisted that it is not the president's responsibility to strengthen opposition parties. Well, in a rare intervention, the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, yesterday took on the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general election, Peter Obi, claiming the former Anambra State governor lacks the moral right to talk about poverty in Nigeria. In a statement, he personally signed titled, and I quote, factually addressing Mr. Peter Obi's criticism of Nigeria at Johns Hopkins University. Sanwo-Olu accused Obi of contributing to the current poverty in the country and alleged that under him as governor in Anambra State, the menace grew astronomically. During his remarks at Johns Hopkins University, Obi had drawn a comparison between Nigeria, China, and Vietnam in the area of poverty, stressing that Nigeria, with about 50 million poor people, had the least number of people in poverty in 1990 than any of the three countries. But Sanwo-Olu said Obi not only demarketed Nigeria by openly denigrating the country abroad, but also made statements that he had no moral standing to make these statements. Now to the economy, where the Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, NASIMA, and the Organized Private Sector of Nigeria have expressed concern over the World Bank's projection that Nigeria's poverty rate could soar to 56% by 2027, calling for urgent, decisive and coordinated action to reverse the trend. According to the World Bank, 104 million Nigerians, that's about 47% of the population, were living below the poverty line in 2023, up from 40% in 2018. In its latest report, the World Bank predicted that poverty will continue to rise in the coming years, potentially reaching 56% by 2027. The report cited sluggish economic growth, high inflation, and rising rural-urban disparities as key drivers of the trend. Reacting to the report, NASIMA President Dele Calvin Oye Esquire, however, outlined a 13-point short-term measures agenda to halt and reverse the projected rise in poverty. These include targeted economic stimulus packages, greater investment in agriculture, expanded access to credit and microfinance, and supportive and predictable tax environment and robust vocational training programs for unemployed youth and women, amongst others. All right, several issues to unpack there, from politics to the economy. We have a little bit of everything to dissect this Monday morning.
Okay, yesterday, the presidency issued a statement signed by Mr. Bayo Onanuga to say that contrary to what everybody has been saying, or what most people have been saying, don't let me say everybody, that democracy is not under threat. That if anything, the fact that members of the opposition, with the dramatic, seismic, let me quote my this day editor, transformation of persons in data state, elected officials into the fold of the All Progressives Congress, shows that opposition parties are not doing well, that they are not, holding their own people, and that it is a testament to the ability of President Bola Tinubu to promote democracy and to make the APC a very attractive proposition for Nigerian politicians. Mr. Ononuga also made a point in response to the argument about one-party state. He argued that, in fact, the grand coalition that, certain opposition figures have been planning, that grand coalition has failed to gain traction, and that nobody should be surprised that people are moving into the All Progressives Congress. He argued for that in that statement that neither President Tinubu nor the APC is trying to create a one-party state. The politicians, human beings, citizens of Nigeria have the rights to the freedom of speech, freedom of assembly. He mentioned another freedom, freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, freedom of association, Section 40 of the 1999 Constitution, Section 39 of the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria. And he said that, look, people are free to express themselves. Now, he says that the opposition, they are poorly organized. In any case, let me summarize by saying that, look, this is the presidency coming out frontally to respond. This is a case of the presidency saying, look, it's not peculiar to Nigeria. In other parts of the world, politicians move from one tendency to the other. However, the problem we have here is that Nigeria is not the same political arrangement as what you have in other parts of the world. Mr. Ononuga may have written a very brilliant piece, very abusive, professionally abusive. I could have written even worse myself at the time I was in that position.